My fiancé said, "I want to pause the engagement. I need time to think if you're really the right choice." I said, "Take all the time you want." She thought she was the one ending things. But the moment she opened her apartment door that evening, she realized something had already ended hours before she made her decision. I'm Michael, 34, and 3 days ago, my fiancé of 8 months tried to put our relationship on pause to figure things out. What she didn't know was that I'd already figured things out that morning when I discovered text messages that revealed exactly what she'd been doing while claiming to need space. Emma and I had been together for 3 years before I proposed. We met through work, both of us in marketing, different companies, crossed paths at industry events. She was smart, ambitious, had this energy that drew people to her. I fell hard. We moved in together after a year, got engaged last spring, set a wedding date for next October. Everything seemed perfect. About 2 months ago, things started feeling different. Emma became distant, distracted. She'd be on her phone constantly, angling it away when I'd walk by. She started working late more often, going to more networking events that somehow always ran until midnight. When I'd ask about her day, she'd give vague answers and change the subject. Last Thursday morning, Emma left for work before me. She'd been in such a rush that she forgot her iPad on the kitchen counter. She usually took it everywhere. I wasn't snooping initially. I just picked it up to put it somewhere safe, and the screen lit up showing her messages. Her iMessage was synced across devices, and there was a conversation with someone named Alex K at the top. The preview showed, "Last night was exactly what I needed. Thank you for understanding me in ways he never could." My stomach dropped. I opened the thread, scrolled up, read everything, 3 months of messages. Emma and Alex, someone she'd met at a conference, had been talking constantly, flirting at first, then emotional confiding, then explicit discussion of feelings. "I think I'm falling for you. You make me question everything about my relationship. When I'm with you, I feel alive in a way I haven't felt in years." They'd met up. Multiple times. Coffee turned into dinner, turned into late-night drinks. She told me those nights were work events or girls' nights with her friend Sophie. The most recent messages were from the night before. Wednesday. Emma had told me she was having dinner with Sophie. Instead, she'd been with Alex. The messages after showed them saying goodnight around 11 p.m., discussing when they could see each other next. Emma saying she needed to figure out her situation with Michael. I sat at the kitchen table for probably 20 minutes, just staring at her iPad. Then I took photos of everything with my phone, every message, every lie. Every time she'd chosen him while pretending to choose me. I didn't confront her that morning. She came back around 8:30 a.m. She'd left something in her car and found me at the table drinking coffee. "You okay?" she asked. "You look upset." "I'm fine," I said. "Just tired." She grabbed what she needed and left again. Kissed me on the cheek like nothing was wrong. I called my brother James, told him everything. He said, "You need to end this. Today. Don't give her the chance to spin this." But I had a different idea. I spent Thursday preparing. Called the wedding venue and caterer. Both were flexible about postponements, would refund most deposits if we canceled within 6 months of the date. Called my parents and Emma's parents, asked if they could talk that evening. Didn't explain why. Packed a bag with my essential stuff and took it to James's place. Removed my name from our shared streaming accounts and utilities where possible. Updated passwords on everything we'd shared access to. By Thursday evening, I was ready. Emma came home around 6 p.m. I was on the couch reading. She seemed nervous. "Hey, can we talk?" she said. "Sure. What's up?" She sat across from me, not next to me. "I've been doing a lot of thinking lately. About us, about the wedding, about everything." "Okay. I love you, Michael. I do, but I've been feeling really uncertain. Like maybe we rushed into the engagement. Like maybe I need to be sure you're really the right choice." "What are you saying?" "I want to pause the engagement. Not break up, just Take a step back. Give me some time to think clearly without the pressure of wedding planning. I looked at her carefully. She seemed nervous, but also a little relieved, like she'd been carrying this for a while. How much time do you need? I don't know. A few weeks? Maybe a month? I just need space to figure out what I really want. Space to figure out what you want, or space to figure out if you want to be with Alex? Her face went completely white. What? Alex K. The guy you've been talking to for 3 months. The guy you were with last night when you told me you were having dinner with Sophie. The guy you've been telling that I don't understand you and that he makes you feel alive. Michael, I don't know what I saw your messages, all of them, Thursday morning when you forgot your iPad. She stood up quickly, started pacing. You went through my private messages? You left your iPad unlocked on the counter. The messages were right there. But let's not pretend this is about me invading your privacy. This is about you having an emotional affair, maybe a physical one too, while planning a wedding to me. It's not what you think. Then explain it to me. Explain why you've been meeting up with someone behind my back. Explain why you told him you're falling for him. Explain why you've been lying to me for months. She sat back down, tears starting. I didn't mean for it to happen. Alex and I connected at that conference and we just started talking, and it felt good to have someone really listen to me. You've been so focused on work lately, and I felt lonely and he was there. So you had an affair. We didn't sleep together. Emotional affairs are still affairs, Emma. You've been building a relationship with someone else while engaged to me. You've been lying constantly. You've been choosing him over me while wearing my ring. I was confused. You weren't confused. You were having your cake and eating it too. You wanted the security of me and the excitement of him. And tonight you were going to ask for a pause so you could test drive the Alex option without fully committing to leaving me. Classic having your backup plan strategy. She was full on crying now. That's not fair. What's not fair is you lying to me for 3 months. What's not fair is you making me plan a wedding while you were telling someone else you might be falling for them. What are you saying? I'm saying we're done. The engagement is over. I've already contacted the venue and caterer about cancellation. I've moved my stuff to my brother's place. I called both sets of parents earlier. They're on their way here now, actually. Should be here in about 10 minutes. I wanted to tell them together what happened, so there's no confusion about why this wedding isn't happening. You called our parents? I did. Because I'm not letting you control the narrative on this one. I'm not letting you tell everyone that we mutually decided to take a break, or that we grew apart, or whatever story you were planning. Everyone's going to know the truth. She looked panicked. Michael, please. Can we just talk about this privately? We don't need to involve our families. You involved our families when you agreed to marry me while pursuing someone else. They deserve to know why their kids aren't getting married anymore. The doorbell rang. Emma looked at me desperately. Please don't do this. I stood up and went to the door. Both sets of parents had apparently arrived at the same time, were standing together looking confused. Thanks for coming, I said. Please come in. Emma and I need to talk to you about something. Update 1. The conversation with our parents was brutal. Emma's mom kept asking what was happening, why I'd called this emergency meeting. Emma was crying, asking if we could talk privately first. I just pulled out my phone. Emma's been having an affair, I said simply, for the past 3 months, with someone she met at a conference. I found out yesterday when I saw messages on her iPad. I'm ending the engagement. Emma's dad looked shocked. An affair? Emma, is this true? It's not an affair, we didn't, she started. Show them, I said. Michael, please. I held up my phone showing screenshots of the messages, passed it to my mom who read some, then passed it to Emma's parents. Watching their faces change as they read was painful but necessary. You told this man you were falling for him, Emma's mom said quietly, while engaged to Michael. I was confused, Mom. I didn't know how I felt. You knew enough to lie about where you were going, I said. You knew enough to tell me you were with Sophie when you were actually with him. You knew enough to plan meetups and tell him he understood you better than I did. My dad, who'd been quiet, finally spoke. Son, what do you need from us? Just support. And I needed witnesses to the truth. Emma was about to ask me for a pause on the engagement. I'm guessing her plan was to test things with Alex while keeping me as an option if it didn't work out. I wanted to make sure everyone knew what actually happened. Emma was sobbing. Her mother looked devastated. Her father looked angry. My parents just looked sad. Emma's dad stood up. Emma, get your things. You're staying with us tonight. Dad, now you've made your choices. Now you deal with consequences. After they left, Emma crying, her mother looking back at me with apologetic eyes, her father rigid with anger. My parents stayed for a while. My mom hugged me. My dad asked if I needed anything. I told them I just needed time. I stayed in the apartment that night. It was technically both of ours, both names on the lease, but Emma had gone with her parents. I sat on the couch until about 2 a.m. thinking about the past 3 years. How much of it had been real? Had she always been capable of this, or had something changed? Around 3 a.m., my phone buzzed. Emma, I'm so sorry. I know I hurt you. Can we please talk tomorrow? I didn't respond. Update 2. Friday morning, I woke up to 17 missed calls from Emma and a voicemail. I listened to it. She was crying, saying she'd made a terrible mistake, that she wanted to work things out, that Alex meant nothing compared to what we had. I deleted it. I took the day off work, spent most of it handling logistics, talking to the venue, officially canceling vendors, figuring out the apartment situation. Emma and I had 6 months left on our lease. I told the landlord what happened. He was surprisingly understanding, said he'd work with us on breaking the lease early. Emma's friend Sophie called me around noon. Michael, I need to tell you something. I didn't know Emma was seeing someone else. She told me she was going through stuff with you guys and needed space sometimes, but I had no idea she was meeting up with another guy. I would have told you if I'd known. I believe you, I said. Thanks for telling me. For what it's worth, you deserve way better than what she did to you. Emma showed up at the apartment around 3 p.m. I'd expected this. I stayed calm, opened the door, let her in. Thank you for seeing me, she said. I'm not seeing you. I'm letting you get your stuff. Can we just talk for 5 minutes, please? I looked at my watch. You have 5 minutes. I know I messed up. I know I hurt you. But Michael, what we have is real. What I feel for you is real. Alex was he was a distraction when I was feeling disconnected from us. It didn't mean anything. It meant enough for you to lie to me for 3 months. I was confused. Stop saying you were confused. You made choices. Every time you texted him, that was a choice. Every time you met up with him, that was a choice. Every time you lied to me about where you were, that was a choice. You weren't confused. You wanted both of us and thought you could have it. I'm choosing you now. You don't get to choose me after I caught you. That's not how this works. You had 3 months to choose me. You chose him over and over again. The only reason you want me now is because I found out and you're facing consequences. That's not true. Your 5 minutes are up. Get your stuff and go. She tried to argue for another 10 minutes. I just started packing her things for her. Eventually, she realized I was serious and started helping. We packed in silence. When she had 3 bags ready, she looked at me one more time. I really do love you, she said. If that's what your love looks like, I don't want it. She left. I changed the locks that evening. Update 3. Over the next week, I heard through mutual friends about Emma's version of events. She was apparently telling people that we'd been growing apart and that our breakup was mutual and complicated. When people asked about the wedding being canceled, she'd say, "We realized we weren't ready." I didn't correct anyone publicly. But when friends asked me directly what happened, I told them the truth. Word spread pretty quickly after that. Emma tried to reach out a few more times over the next 2 weeks. Texts that I didn't respond to. One handwritten letter delivered to James's place that I threw away without reading. One attempt to show up at my office that my assistant deflected. James told me I should block her number entirely. You're leaving the door open by keeping communication possible. He was right. I blocked her number, her email, her social media. Complete cutoff. About 3 weeks after everything exploded, I got a message from Alex. He'd somehow found me on LinkedIn. I wanted to apologize. Emma told me she was single. I had no idea she was engaged. I wouldn't have pursued anything if I'd known. I'm sorry for my part in hurting you. I appreciated the message, but I also knew Emma well enough to doubt his story. I responded, She told you she was single? You never saw the engagement ring she wore every day? Never wondered why all your meetups were secretive and she couldn't post photos of you anywhere? He didn't respond. The apartment lease was broken with only 1 month's penalty. The landlord really was understanding. I found a new place closer to work. Smaller but cheaper, and it didn't have memories of Emma in every room. My mom asked me if I was doing okay emotionally. Honestly, I was. Angry, yes. Hurt, yes. But also relieved. If I hadn't found those messages, I might have married her. Might have spent years with someone capable of lying to my face every single day. Final update. It's been 3 months since Emma asked to pause the engagement. 3 months since I ended it instead. I'm doing well. Better than I expected, actually. I heard through the grapevine that Emma and Alex didn't work out. Apparently, once the affair was exposed and she was actually available, the excitement faded, and they realized they didn't have much in common beyond sneaking around. They lasted maybe 6 weeks before he ended it. Emma tried to reach out one more time about a month ago. She created a new email address to get around my blocks. Long message about how she'd been in therapy, realized she'd sabotaged our relationship because of commitment fears, wanted a chance to explain everything in person. I didn't respond. My brother asked me if I ever felt tempted to hear her out. The honest answer is no. What would be the point? She made her choices. She lied for months. She only wanted to fix things after getting caught and losing both me and Alex. That's not someone who actually wants me. That's someone who doesn't want to be alone. I've started dating again. Nothing serious yet, but I'm open to it. I'm more careful now about red flags, distance, secretiveness, sudden changes in behavior. But I'm not cynical. What Emma did was about her character, not about relationships in general. The wedding venue ended up refunding most of our deposit since we canceled so far in advance. The caterer kept their deposit, but I didn't fight it. Small price to pay for avoiding a marriage that would have ended in divorce anyway. I ran into Emma's mom at a coffee shop 2 weeks ago. She looked embarrassed, but came over to talk. Said she was sorry about everything, that Emma was struggling, but it was her own fault. That I'd always been good to their family, and she wished things had turned out differently. I told her I appreciated that, and that I hoped Emma found what she was looking for. I meant it. Not in a bitter way. I genuinely hope she figures out whatever issues led her to blow up a good relationship. Just not with me. People keep asking if I'm over it. I don't know if over it is the right phrase. I'm past it. I've moved on. The anger has faded into something more like indifference. Emma is someone I used to know, someone I used to love, someone who revealed herself to be different than I thought. That's all. I learned that when someone asks for space to figure things out, they've usually already figured things out and are just trying to engineer a soft landing. I learned that having evidence before a confrontation is crucial. Emma couldn't gaslight me or rewrite history because I had screenshots. I learned that involving families early, while painful, prevented months of manipulation and false narratives. Most importantly, I learned that I'd rather be alone than with someone who makes me an option instead of a priority. Emma wanted to keep me on pause while she explored other options. I gave her all the space she wanted. Permanent space. I'm Michael, 34, single, living in a new apartment, building a new life that doesn't include someone who was willing to destroy our future for someone she barely knew. I didn't get the wedding I was planning, but I also didn't get the marriage that would have inevitably fallen apart the first time things got difficult. That's more than enough.